This week at Dreamworld, a teaser drops for the awesome new King Claw set to open late 2025. Mysterious construction fencing appears down at the end of Ocean Parade, and I read your comments and your thoughts on the islands next to Rivertown. Hello everyone, welcome back to the YumYum Report, bringing you bite-sized updates from Australian theme parks, as well as occasional updates from theme parks around the world. Before we start, I'd like to give a quick thank you to Team YumYum for supporting my content. Thank you so much. This week we had a quick visit into Dreamworld to check out progress on the King Claw construction site, as well as having a look around the rest of the park to see if anything new was happening. As far as I can tell, there haven't been any new parts that have arrived for King Claw yet in the car park at the front of the park, but Dreamworld did drop a really cool teaser on their social media showing off what looks to be the sign for King Claw, and I'm really excited to see how this looks in its full scale, because King Claw is going to be much larger, so I think that the sign will have to be even more eye-catching and grand looking to fit the epic scale of the new attraction. In the teaser, it looks like it kind of fits the old school claw sign look with that metal and then the letters carved into it, and underneath you see some blue coloring, and I wonder if it's going to glow at nighttime. I think that would look really, really cool. The ride in general's got this cool blue color scheme as far as I can tell, based on the parts that we can see in the car park, and from the sign as well, that seems to be the case. So I think it's going to look really cool, and I think some lighting at nighttime would really sell it, especially since there's going to be a new set piece on top of the ride, which people will be able to see from the highway. I'm really excited to see how King Claw turns out, and it's going to be a great addition to the park. Next we had lunch, and one of my favorite things to eat at Dreamworld is the kids combo, which you can get from the sandwich bar. And this comes with a sandwich, some fruit salad, and a drink. And this is just the perfect meal for me. I know I'm not a kid, but it's still a great deal. The egg salad sandwich is the perfect combination. Dreamworld knocks it out of the park, no pun intended. The fruit salad, yummy yummy. What's your favorite thing to eat at a theme park? Let me know in the comments. And if you're enjoying this video, please feel free to leave a like, a friendly comment, or subscribe. It really helps a lot with the YouTube algorithm. So thank you very much. We also had a quick look at the other end of Ocean Parade, because I noticed that there was some construction fencing that was placed where the old surfing simulator used to be back in the day, which is like a remnant of that kind of weird period in Dreamworld's history. And this attraction sort of felt out of place in Dreamworld itself. I think it would have been quite good in Whitewater World, which is literally right next door. So it was kind of weird that it was in Dreamworld. I guess it kind of loosely ties into the Ocean Parade theme. I wasn't a fan of this, so I was kind of glad to see it be removed from the park, although it hasn't been clear exactly what they're going to use this space for. I'm not really sure what they could use the space for. It's a very small section of land. The only thing I could think of that would be quite cool is if they somehow built a gate that links the actual two parks together, so you could go from Whitewater World into Dreamworld, and you could go from Dreamworld into Whitewater World. That would sort of glue Ocean Parade together a bit more nicely. Other than that, I can't really think of what else they could use this space for, but I would be interested to hear what your thoughts are as well in the comments. We also had a quick visit into Rivertown, but first I looked at the old train track area, and there's still no signs yet of progress on the train tracks. I'm really excited to see the full circuit return, which I think will bring the park back to its full scale again, because it's a nice way to journey around the park. The train is really relaxing and comfy, so I'm excited to see this return. Rivertown is fantastic as always, and the plants are growing in really nicely. Mississippi Motors is going to look absolutely fantastic when all the plants grow to their full scale, and it's going to start feeling more and more like a jungle. And I can't wait to go on Mississippi Motors once it's like this, because it'll make all those twists and turns feel even more adventurous. And when you come up to some of those big set pieces like the plane and the statues and things, it's going to be so epic. We had a quick ride on Jungle Rush, which is such a fantastic roller coaster. I can't believe this is actually here on the Gold Coast in Australia. We're so spoiled. It's such an excellent world-class ride, especially from a theming perspective. The facade, the queue, very, very good. I didn't notice anything new this week riding on Jungle Rush, and I'm still curious how far along it is to its completion, and I would be curious to hear if there's more stuff being added to it. I guess we'll wait and see. While I was walking around Rivertown, I had a quick look across at the island in the middle of the Mississippi River, and I was wondering what they could use this space for. I have been thinking about this for a while, and I have a few ideas of my own, but I did also post on Instagram and YouTube community to ask what other people thought, and I received some really interesting comments. Callie Cosplays says a little nature walk with some new animals. That would be really fun. I feel like a nature walk would be quite cool. I wonder what animals they could put there. Dane's Theme Park Life says Mac rocking boat like at Futuroscope. Oh yeah, I love this idea. I recently saw a POV from That's So Mid, who's a great Australian theme park YouTuber, and I had never heard of this attraction before. I don't know how, but this looks really, really cool. It's over in France, and it's a new attraction which recently opened, featuring a really cool ride system. It's sort of a hybrid kind of ride where the ride goes through water, but the boat actually sort of tilts from side to side. And the track is kind of hard to see, so it looks like it would really feel like you're actually in a boat going on this big adventure. And it seems like a lot of fun. I think this ride looks incredible. I think something like this would be really cool, and I think it would kind of fill that gap in Dreamworld's ride portfolio, which at this stage is missing a water ride, which is understandable given what happened. But I think something like that would be really neat, and I'd love to see it. Clairebear806 says more Rivertown themed stuff or an area themes to the Outlaw guys. I like the idea a lot of the area themes to the Outlaws, who are kind of a big part in Dreamworld's history, these two characters, which you don't really see in the park anymore. I think they appeared in some shows at events a few years ago, but I haven't really seen them around since, so that would be really cool. Color in Z75 says something similar to the Black Bear Trail at Dollywood. Small ride vehicle on a track around Island. That looks really fun. I haven't heard of that attraction either, but it looks interesting. A single rail and you ride around on like a little bear. It's a fun little family attraction. I think that would be cool. I wonder what you could ride on that would tie into like the island theme, maybe a crocodile or something. That would be funny. She also said a theater for Rivertown themed shows. Yes, I absolutely agree with you. I think Rivertown is kind of missing some form of entertainment as well. When it opened and I was lucky enough to visit the press event, they had Jane and Mari appear and give a little speech, and the characters were really well written and well defined, and I would love to see them have more of a presence in Rivertown through a show or through character meet and greets, but mainly a show. I think that would be fantastic. Clairebear806 says more animal exhibits would be nice and maybe a log ride. Yeah, I really feel like Dreamworld is missing the log flume ride. It's a shame they had to get rid of the old one, and I hope that they are able to bring something like that back to the park. Red Reborn says a dark ride perhaps. We need a dark ride with an original story. Maybe have Kenny and Belinda go on a big adventure. Yes, we really need a high quality dark ride here on the Gold Coast, especially something with an immersive story, and I think using Kenny and Belinda in that way would be a really smart decision because they are so iconic and so cute and lovable. Other than appearing in merchandise and some of the shows and interactions around the park, they don't really appear on any of the rides or in the story format. I think they're kind of missing a golden opportunity because they've got their own Mickey Mouse and Minnie Mouse essentially. They could really incorporate them even more than they are. I think they're already doing a fantastic job, but having them appear in their own ride would be the icing on the cake. And I know they already have Kenny's Forest Flyers, and they've got the walkthrough attraction at the Happy Halloween event, and they've got Belinda's Arctic Adventure at Winterfest. But I think they need something really high quality to fully utilize the opportunity that they have, and a dark ride would be the way to go. Perth Theme Parks says a bush ranger show. That would be really fun. That would be a cool throwback to the original paddle steamer, because back in the day when this attraction was part of the park, you would ride around the Mississippi River, and partway through there would be a show that would take place on the island with these bushrangers. That looked really cool. I don't remember experiencing it myself. I have seen videos and my family has told me about it, and it sounded really cool, so that would be super cool if they brought that back. Benji says, I think a flat ride of some kind makes the most sense, but I honestly see them leaving the area alone as to not disturb the animals and instead look to doing something with the old log flume plot of land. Yeah, As much as I like to play around with ideas about the future of the island here near Rivertown, it does seem sort of an unlikely spot to actually use because they've already got a lot of trees and things there. It would be quite complicated to actually build something, but if they could, it would be really cool. As to the old log flume plot of land, I 100% agree that this is a great space in the park, which is already kind of ready for some kind of attraction. So maybe it's in their pipeline. Maybe they do have a plan for this, and I look forward to seeing what it is. Castorelli says, the Mimic. I'm not really sure what the Mimic is, I'm sorry. I looked it up, but all that came up was this scary looking video game character, and I felt very old. Back in my day, we had the Slender Man. Now you've got all these Five Nights at Freddy's and the Mimic, and I don't know how to keep up with this stuff. I don't know if they should put this on the island. It's a bit scary. I wouldn't go on the island if this thing was there. WTJ09W says, jungle adventure playground through the tree, discovering temples and animals. That's a really fun idea. When I visited Hong Kong Disneyland, they had the Tarzan's treehouse in Adventureland, which was amazing, and on a very similar land actually to what we have here at Rivertown on a little island. And I think a treehouse would be perfect. The Real Generic Smile says, we need the river ferry back. I've always wanted to ride it, but a water show would be a great idea as well for this area. But even keeping it would be cool. They could decorate the lake during the winter and October events, as it fits very well with the theming of the area. A show? I didn't think about that. That's a cool idea. The first thing that comes to mind is what they've got over at SeaWorld with the jet skis and the boats and everything. That would be a kind of cool idea for Rivertown. As to decorating it for some of the events, I like that idea. I'm not sure how they would do it though. Do you mean with Christmas lights or Halloween decorations and things? Jordan Not a Whale says, I'd like to see a water ride or dark ride on the island, or a new show as Dreamworld needs more of them. Maybe bring back the Bush Ranger show. Yeah, the Bush Rangers sound quite popular, don't they? And like other people have said, a water ride or dark ride as well. Both excellent ideas. And Jordan, you seem to have a habit of using a lot of laughing emojis. I'm glad you're having fun. Plemus says, I don't think they should build anything on the island as a good backdrop for Rivertown. If anything, it would be cool to see them use the river for a ride or experience as an add-on to the area. I agree, I think it is a really nice backdrop to Rivertown, but I also think it's like a prime real estate in the park, and they could really use it for something cool, and I'll share my thoughts with you soon. Coaster Blocks 3420 says, something low impact, but they seriously need to deal with the declared noxious invasive weed Singapore daisy, Wardelia, for which they have a legal obligation to eradicate. I'm not familiar with that. Obviously, it sounds very serious, so if that is a problem, they should probably look at sorting that out. That's all the comments I received about the island in Rivertown. Thank you so much to everyone for leaving your thoughts and ideas. It's such a blast hearing what other people have to say, and I thought all of the ideas were really interesting. So thank you very much, and I'm sorry for anyone whose comments I didn't read. If you would like to become a part of future discussions, you can follow me on Instagram, where I post frequent updates and prompts for discussions, and I also post them on my YouTube community, so make sure to subscribe to the channel to check those out. As for my own ideas, I have a lot of thoughts about what they could use the space for. I know most of them are probably unrealistic. My ultimate dream idea for the island here near Rivertown is this. It's called the Forbidden Island. It sort of ties into the Rivertown storyline and lore, but builds upon it a bit more. And it's kind of its own enclosed area while also being thematically tied in. This is an island where there's still dinosaurs near Rivertown, where the original Azamati tribe lived. This was an island that they would never go to because of the scary monsters that lived on the island, which were actually dinosaurs. But cut to much later in the same time period as Rivertown, where one of Jane and Murray's distant relatives sets out on a river expedition to find Jane and Murray, who they believe landed somewhere in this mysterious jungle. And in so doing, they accidentally stumble across the Forbidden Island, where there's still dinosaurs. This character is, like Jane and Murray, very adventurous and interested in researching interesting places around the world. Forbidden Island is sort of like a microbiome. It's like its own little world within the jungle. The highlight attraction for the area would be a suspended coaster called Flight of the Pterodactyl. It would have like a blue track and it would go around the island, an interesting layout, and it would sort of interact with the river a bit and wrap around the trees and things. And I think that would be a really cool sight as you're walking into Rivertown and you would see the coaster kind of going through the jungle over on the island. Next, I'd have some kind of dinosaur-themed playground area, which would have like a fossil excavation site where kids could dig up fossils in the sand and brush them off and find all kinds of interesting things. There would also be a dinosaur research facility, which would actually be where the old barn is, sort of on the opposite side of the river. There'd be a cool immersive theater show themed around the dinosaurs. Also in the area, I would have a jungle cruise sort of attraction, but my spin on this attraction would be that rather than seeing animals, you would see dinosaurs as you cruise around the river. The grand finale would be some kind of big scary scene with a T-Rex or something like that. Some other things I would add to the area would be roaming characters with dinosaur puppets. I'd also fill it with lots of animatronics that you can see, and it would be a big activity to go and spot them all and take pictures with them. And I would also have a little snack bar which sells interesting biscuits and cookies and cakes and things. So yeah, that's my idea for the island here in the Rivertown area, and I think it's such a great space in the park. I think it could act as a sort of central hub area, and I would connect the island to sort of 3 different areas of the park with bridges. First one would be a bridge leading from Rivertown, and then also one on the opposite end near the barn area, which would then be a dinosaur research facility theater show. And then also to the left leading off to like the old log flume area. And I think that would sort of expand the park a lot more and make it a bit more interesting to navigate, because it would offer a few different ways to get around the park instead of just going around in a circle. Again, just a silly idea, probably impossible, but I think that would be really cool. Anyway, that brings me to the end of this YumYum report from Dreamworld. I hope you enjoyed watching, and if you want to see more videos like this, please feel free to leave a like, a friendly comment, or subscribe for more. And before we finish, I'd like to wrap things up by giving a very special thank you to Team YumYum for supporting my content. A very special thank you to Koala75, Lee Donald, SWCV1, Randall, Maloney's Coasters, Carrie Jackin, Kai on the Internet, Audrey Allen, Boogie Boogie, Theme Park Ogre, Jordan Casey, Germ, Medic Rick, Movies Like Everyone, and Senpai's JP Blue Dog. Thank you so much everyone for your very kind and generous support. I know I say it every single time, but it really means a lot to me. It makes me very happy that you enjoy my videos enough to support me in this way. So thank you very much. And for anyone who would like to become a channel member, you're more than welcome to do so. This will give you access to new videos early. You'll also get a special shout out and thanks at the end of my videos. A special YumYum sticker next to your username, some emojis to use in the comments and chat. And last but not least, you'll also get a special custom hand-drawn illustration by me to fit your very needs and requirements. And for any members of Team YumYum who haven't told me what you would like your drawing to be yet, just let me know in the comments or message me on Instagram. But if you're not in a position to support the channel in this way, you can also leave a like, a friendly comment, or subscribe for more. Thank you so much again for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.